First story. I would like off this ride now. Huh? Never thought I would be posting here. I had what every friend in our large friend group considered the best relationship. I've been reading posts, they help a lot. I think. I apologize if I break the sub rules or say something incorrectly. That's just naivete and the fact that my brain sucks right now. So, on Saturday, 2 days ago, I found out my wife had been having a 5-month-long emotional and physical affair with her boss. We're both 40, been together since 19 and married for 18 years, 3 kids, house, a dog, etc. All firebombed. She didn't tell me, she wasn't planning on it. I found it on a secret chat app on her phone when I picked up hers on accident. We have the same phone. The worst part of the timing of this for me is that I'm recovering from having thyroid surgery 7 days ago. Her and her AP actually hooked up on the 4th while I was laid up in bed after she dropped our daughters off downtown for fireworks. There's so much more to say, but I'm pretty broken and numb. I just have no one to talk to, because my person that I used to talk to is now just a memory that haunts me. The good and empathetic and trusting and caring person was given to someone else, and I get to have someone who could do that to someone they say they love with all their heart. I had to read her messages saying how much she loved her AP. Loved, after working for this guy for like a year and a half. I'm posting here because the only people that know have been sympathetic to me, sure, but also just not mad enough at her for my busted ego to handle. I have no validation from anyone. There is a great post here about comparing this process to a car wreck, and the WS and AP walk away without a scratch while I'm in emergency surgery. That's how I feel, literally and figuratively. I just needed someone else, anyone else to know that I'm hurt and broken and scared and mad and anxious and surrounded by people, but I'm so lonely. So lonely. I feel abandoned. I feel thrown away and discarded. Like so much trash on the side of the road. We are going to try and work on things, but God, how unfair is this all? How unfair that I now have to put in all this effort to fix a problem that I was an unwilling participant in. How incredibly unfair. Thank you all for this. I hope all of you find the peace you deserve. I'm afraid mine is going to be a long time coming. Second story. My wife admitted to having a drunken one-night stand last week, and it has turned me into a robot. I, 32M, have been married to my wife Kate, 30F, for 4 years, together for 9. Our relationship has been amazing, loving and supportive. We have good communication, hardly ever argue, and our bedroom life has gone from strength to strength over the years. We discussed cheating in the past and I was always clear that we would be over if it ever happened. Kate went home to visit her family last weekend, which was fairly normal. Before she left on the Friday night, we had a minor argument about keeping the house tidy, so our communication was limited on Saturday. But I knew she was going out to meet some friends at a bar. I trusted her 100%, so didn't think anything of it. Before I fell asleep, I texted her saying that I hope she had a nice night. When I woke up on Sunday morning, I had a missed call from Kate at 4 a.m., so I immediately called her to check if she was okay, but no answer. After a few hours I tried again a few times, but still no answer. Around an hour later I got a message saying she was fine and was driving back soon. Kate got home late afternoon and looked awful. She had clearly been crying, was not wearing any makeup, unusual for her, and looked like a shell of a person. I knew right away something was wrong, but she wouldn't let me hug her and would barely speak. I sat her down on the couch and made her some tea. I gently encouraged her to tell me what was wrong, and she burst into uncontrollable tears for at least 10 minutes while I was trying to comfort her. She then proceeded to tell me, stopping every few words, that she had slept with someone last night after the bar. At that moment, something in my brain broke. I can't describe it any other way. I immediately got up and jumped in my car and drove off. I went to a park and walked around it for about an hour. Kate was calling my phone constantly and I turned it off. When I got home, I grabbed 2 suitcases from the garage and went to our bedroom. I threw some of Kate's clothes and shoes into them and left them by the front door. Kate was lying on the floor in the living room, curled up into a ball sobbing. I called her best friend who lives nearby and told her that Kate needed a place to stay and a ride to her place, and that Kate could explain everything to her later. I told Kate I was leaving for an hour and that her friend was coming to pick her up. She grabbed onto my legs trying to stop me from leaving. When I returned home again, Kate was gone and so were the cases. On Monday, with a clearer head, I answered one of Kate's many calls and told her that I needed her to send me an email with as much details as possible of that night, and if she leaves anything out, there will be no hope of reconciliation. I received this email on Monday night but still haven't opened it. Since then, everyone has been trying to contact me but I have just been working, exercising and sleeping. One of her friends turned up at my house with an attitude demanding an explanation. I told her to speak to Kate and closed the door in her face. I have also been speaking to divorce lawyers, have moved money into separate accounts and blocked Kate and all of her friends on everything. Everything I have done since I found out seems like I have been on autopilot. I don't feel angry, upset or overly emotional, just numb. Kate posted a note through the door yesterday asking me to meet tomorrow, but I'm conflicted. Should I meet her? Will it change anything? Is there any point in trying to reconcile? Is it normal to feel like a robot, and how do I snap out of this? Just to add that when I came home the first time, Kate confirmed it was consensual. She was drunk but knew what she was doing. Update. After reading your comments, I decided to meet with Kate but not read the email. Kate came to the house yesterday and when I opened the door she looked terrible. She tried to hug me and started mumbling apologies, but I stopped her and we sat down to talk. I started by telling Kate that I would be recording the audio of the conversation, and she agreed. I then asked her to explain what happened and told her that I haven't read the email she sent. Kate said she had been at the bar with 2 friends I know and like both of them, and told me what she had to drink. I was surprised at how little she drank because it was the same amount we would normally drink when going for dinner, a few glasses of wine and a cocktail. She admitted she was only slightly tipsy. One of her friends, Sarah, has a younger brother, Max, 27M, who came to pick them up around midnight. It's a running joke in their group that Max has had major crush on Kate since high school, and I had heard them joke about this. The 4 of them went to get some food and Max then dropped each one off until it was just him and Kate. Kate said she didn't want him to drive the 20-minute to her parents' place after working all day, so would just order an Uber from his apartment. She went into his apartment to order the Uber but couldn't get one. Max suggested she should crash in his bed and he would take the sofa. He would then drop her off in the morning. Kate refused and continued to try to find an Uber. They were sitting on Max's bed and he kissed her. She kissed him back and they ended up having sex. After that she broke down crying from guilt and Max took her home. She cried for another hour, then tried to call me to tell me what she had done. We had to stop a number of times because Kate kept breaking down and crying hysterically. She told me it was a huge mistake. She got caught up in the moment. It was terrible. She only loves me, blah blah blah. After she was done, I told her that her story didn't make sense, but it didn't matter at this stage because I was done. This caused another breakdown. I told her I was going to continue with the divorce preparations, but for the next month we would be separated with no contact. I also told her that we would both remain faithful, would get a full STD panel, and she would tell our mutual friends and family what happened. If she sticks to these conditions, I would be willing to meet again to see if there was any way forward other than divorce. She enthusiastically agreed to this, but made it clear that she did not expect me to stay faithful to her. I know many of you will criticize this decision, but I need to be sure that divorce is the right option after I have had time to process everything that has happened. I am still 99% sure that is where we are heading, but I need to be 100% certain. Update. A few things have happened in the last week, so I thought I would make an update post if anyone is interested. First of all, I'm not in robot mode anymore. I have been having bursts of intense feelings of anger and betrayal, but have been keeping busy with work and exercise. My friends have also been great since they found out and have been dragging me out of the house to hang out. I decided to read the email and wished I hadn't. The story Kate told in the email was mostly the same, but there was no mention of going into Max's apartment to order an Uber. There were also pretty explicit details of what they did, for how long, and that they had apparently used a condom. I will never be able to forget this description. Many people who were originally criticizing me for kicking Kate out of the house have now apologized, but they can keep it. Kate's parents reached out to apologize, and I spoke to them, because we had a good relationship before all of this. They begged me to try to work it out, but said they understood if I decided to get divorced. I didn't commit to either option. Kate's other friend, that was there that night, contacted me to tell me her side of the story. It mostly matched up, bar food home. She said Kate could stay over at her house, but she refused, saying she was driving home early the next morning. Max apparently insisted that he would take Kate home. The version of the story that she told didn't mention Kate trying to get an Uber, only that Max invited her in and she accepted. I asked her if she had ever suspected anything before, and she told me that about a year ago, she went to meet Kate for coffee but found Max sitting with her when she arrived. Apparently Kate looked guilty, but when asked about it she said they just met by chance. Sarah, Max's sister, also reached out to me and I spoke to her too. She was angry with both Max and Kate and told me a similar story. Apparently her whole family are angry with Max and she had not spoken to Kate since she found out. She apologized on behalf of her idiot brother and said she had warned him to stay away from Kate since high school. She didn't think anything else had happened between them. I have had zero contact from Kate, but heard that she was going to be moving into an Airbnb near our house. Apparently she is not coping well and called in sick from work a few times over the last few weeks. She does have support from the friend she's currently living with, and I asked her parents to keep an eye on her. Her parents came up to see her this past weekend. I went out with some friends at the weekend and ended up drunk at a bar. I was talking to a girl there who I probably could have gone home with, but I stopped myself because I wanted to keep my self-respect. Reading the email and hearing what they had done made me give up hope of repairing this, especially when I know she is not being truthful with me on other things, so who knows. I will be moving ahead with the divorce, and might not even wait a month before telling Kate that this is my final decision. Third story. Wife still cannot tell the truth. Gets caught over and over. She still can't be honest with me and is incapable of making changes. Half-truths, puff pieces, straight-out lies. It has been 2 months after DD and she still won't tell me the whole truth until I call her out. We have been together for 15 years and have young children. About a year ago she wanted to get back out into the workforce. She had been a stay-at-home mom, so she got a bartending job at night 3-4 times a week. After 8 months of bartending, I took my boys and we went out of town for a week. When I got back I felt something was different about her. After a couple of days I confronted her. She confessed that she was talking to a guy, for a couple of weeks, who was in an open marriage and that she wanted to sleep with him. She asked if I was open to also letting our relationship turn into an open one so that she could sleep with him. I asked if she had slept with this person and she said no. I told her that I do not want to be in an open relationship. We talked more and she said she was being stupid and that she thinks that this person, and his wife, was clouding her head. It took me to tell her that I was done with our marriage if she didn't share this person's name, but she ultimately did. She said that this couple are secretive about being in an open marriage. We live in a small town. The next morning she said she was sick to her stomach and that she was so sorry. I told her I needed her to message this person that it was over, and I wanted to see his response. Within the hour he responded he was sorry for talking with her and that it was done. The next 5 days was the best our relationship had been in years. We were like high school kids. On the 6th day something felt off. When she went to work I asked her to leave her phone with me. She was hesitant but did. It took me 20 minutes while she was at work to figure out that she had deleted her Snapchat account. When I opened it I found chats, naked photos, that she had sent to him that morning. Also figured out that they were sexual while I was out of town. I absolutely lost it. Contacted him. Wife had told him that she was in an open relationship already and that I was fine with it, and actually had a conversation with him. I do believe that my wife was lying to both of us, but he still conspired with her and sent the text saying it was over. Over the last 2 months more has come out. She tells me she does not want me to leave. She swears that she has changed. I have found out that she has been lonely, unhappy, and resenting me for a long time. I have tried to make it work. We are spending more time alone together. My biggest worry is that she has been having a hard time quitting her bartending job, as she knows that it is torture for me when she is there. She finally told me that she has flirted with guys over last 5 months, or at least made herself appear available. The last thing that happened was she went out to this restaurant on a day off with my 2 girls and mother-in-law 3 days ago to see a concert. When she got back she was telling me about it and who she talked with. She mentioned 2 people and was slowly thinking and brought up another person that she knew that I would be uncomfortable with. I pressed her more and found out she also talked with another guy she knew I would be uncomfortable with her talking to. This brought up the whole cheating situation for me all over again, and I don't know why she keeps hiding, minimizing things when she knows it is a trigger. The big reasons why I can't start trusting her, outside of the obvious cheating and lying from the start, is that after the first month from DD, we had a boundaries set from the beginning that she could not speak to the guy she cheated with me on, even to apologize to him for lying. When I spoke with him, he even told me that he did not want to talk with her out of respect for me. She broke that promise and spoke to him at work. He had come in with his golfing buddies after league. She did not tell me until I confronted her. A week after this she ended up telling me that she had also talked to the wife at her work a week before she talked with him. Why will she not quit this job like I want her to, knowing it causes me pain? I have not specifically asked he to, and it is my fault for not doing it. But why does she have a hard time telling me the truth, even though she seems like she really wants our marriage to work and that she loves me and has changed? Update. I just found some notes messages that she tried to delete but did not permanently delete. One was a draft of a flirty text to my coworker. The other was a note to the universe about wanting to be single. She continues to tell me that she is still figuring out how to be truthful and that it takes time. She keeps saying that it is in the past and she just doesn't want to hurt me more. She absolutely doesn't understand that she is incapable of telling me the truth. Why? 4th story. Confused. So the betrayer here. Please try not to beat me up too bad, however I do deserve it. So been married 20 years. Wife about to have our 8th child. I told her end of January about my affair 5 years. Wasn't an emotional one. My boss gave me a blowjob once. Sent me few pics over the 5 years. Maybe 5. Hooked up one more time in August. Oral both ways. No one got off. Was last time for anything. None of it was right. I believe me and my wife's connection wasn't the greatest. I believed in my head that she didn't love me anymore. Used tiny circumstances to feed into that. Also don't think I ever really forgave her for cheating on me once before we got married. That was our first child, whom I love with all my heart and always have. It first started with some weed and alcohol. I was using it to ease my pain. And then it went to porn. Really bad. Never felt like I could tell my wife. Figured it wasn't a big deal. I could handle it. So I told myself, I work away, usually 15 to 20 days a month. Then my boss started flirting with me and liked it. That's when I let myself slip. I feel so terrible for what I did. Now looking at my life, our life, and no, it's always tainted. I believe I always loved my wife, more so now that I know what I've done, the pain I've caused, what I could lose. It's been a major roller coaster. After telling my wife we had sex like crazy for couple months, last few months she been a lot more angry. Frozen time, she has a hard time talking, shout it. Frozen time, has a hard time talking about it. Hurts too much, she says. I've pushed the convo bit too much and she usually breaks down pretty hard. When she angry, then it's weird, just gonna be roommates talk. And she doesn't want me to leave for convenience, help with kids' money. When not angry, she has moments where I feel her a little, but I doubt the sincerity. She will hold my hand, kiss, hug, somewhat snuggle in bed at night. But I'm always doing those things first. We got texting one day and last thing she told me was, told her I missed her. She asked why. I said cause I missed our closeness, that I didn't feel wanted or desired. She said it must be hard for me cause we haven't had sex now in over 2 weeks. Well, you need to know that I do want you. I do desire you. I do want to be intimate and connect with you on that physical level. I just have stuff I need to work through in my mind come those times. It's really hard to be in the mood and want to feel your touch and your kisses and your hands on my body, and then my mind races with how you touched her and kissed her and had your hands on her body. I do want all that with you. It's just gonna take me some time and I will work on ways to figure out how to get past those thoughts. It's just super hard to imagine you and her together and then want to be intimate with you. But I do want to get there. So let here be on that day before my vasectomy, I did ask if she wanted to, last day as a man. It was a hard no. So guess I'm just confused. She doesn't talk a whole lot, especially about the affair and her feelings. It's funny not funny cause all the things I'm experiencing now are the things that I made up before cheated. She knows that too. She's still trying to understand why, and thinks I too do it again. Just not sure how to live my day to day. Am I being too needy? Should I prepare to let her go? I know what I did was so very wrong and that I totally broke her heart. I really do love her. I'm just froze too. Not much motivation for anything. So I come on here, reaching, trying now, not saying anything, just being. Her love language is acts of service and quality time. Mine are physical touch and words of affirmation. I guess I understand she is going through a lot. Her world is crushed. She told me she is trying to reassure me we're okay, even more than she should. But I keep doubting, thinking it's just a coy. Don't see much effort on her part. Update. 6 months after day. I told my wife I had a blowjob 5 years ago from a girl. She sent few pics over the next 5. Again we had a minor encounter. Never sex. I know what I did was extremely wrong. We are now 6 months after day. We just had our 8th child. I think my wife is just keeping me around for convenience. Says see what happens. Any advice? 5th story. Talking to him for 4 years out of our 8. Been with my partner for 8 years now. 3 months ago she woke me up late one night after I fell asleep, telling me she really needs to talk it serious. I sit up and listen as she says she's been talking to another guy for a couple years now. She starts telling me it was for attention. She just sent him pictures and videos and told him anything he wanted to hear. At the time I didn't want to look at her phone. I was in shock. I didn't know what to say. My first response was, "Did you sleep with him?" Her response was no at first. The only reason she woke me up and told me because the guy called her after 8 p.m. that night and apparently this wasn't normal, so she figured it was the man's wife. She couldn't sleep and didn't feel good was the reason behind waking me up and telling me. After that she then told me she had sex with him twice. I don't know if anything else physically happened. I asked her if I was at her house, in our bed. She said yes to both. She slept with him maybe a year ago. I can't confirm. I do love her and I couldn't see myself with anyone else by my side. She was apologetic. It was always going to be me, and it was just for attention. She won't tell me what made her sleep with those 2 times. I feel like it's my fault. I took her for granted and was basically an oblivious idiot to this affair, absolutely clueless. She blocked the guy's number. We told each other we would get counseling of some sort, either individual or as a couple. I gave some effort to find a counselor, but she isn't willing to go yet and isn't showing effort. I know she's extremely shamed. A week after this I couldn't sleep. Got on her phone and saw her deleted text messages of almost 4,000 messages between the two. I couldn't help myself and recovered the texts so I could see them for myself. I spent 2 maybe 3 hours looking through them, didn't even get close to the end. She calls him daddy and says I love you a lot throughout the texts. She will also call me daddy during sex, so that hurt. Tons of nudes, some videos between them pleasuring themselves while at work in the restroom, and other videos like that, none with each other. But like I said, I wasn't close to getting to the end before she woke up. And I handed her phone and let her know I saw them and him. I asked her if she loved him, and she said no, it was always been you, it was always going to be you. The texts are extremely sexual. I'm called out a lot during the text, some normal stuff. Almost like she's keeping him updated. For example, she let him know I got a VR for free because I won a raffle. Other text would be like I fell asleep with his soft cock in my hand. Or sometimes just telling him I'm about our sex life. Complaining to him about me and my lack of caring. It hurt me reading them so much, but I just couldn't stop. She won't tell me where he works or his name. I figured it out wasn't too hard. He's a local news reporter, worked with her 4 or 5 years ago at a grocery store. I also found his wife. My confidence is gone. I think about this at least every day. Am I good enough? Is it my fault? Am I just an idiot for staying 8 years of my life? And I don't want to see just be a waste. Update and a couple of responses. I appreciate the comments and suggestions. First, I posted to vent. I debated on doing this for 3 months. As far as me believing they've had sex twice, the only reason I can confirm that is because in their text messages, they specifically talk about it. Having sex twice barely or something like that. I obviously don't remember the exact words. My dumbass never thought to get checked for STDs. I'll have to schedule that appointment. I am strongly leaning towards getting the wife involved. I feel she is unaware of how far it has gone, and if I was her I would want to know. As it is an unpopular decision, I'm still with her at the moment and I'm still working through a lot, as you can imagine. 2 wrongs don't make a right, but I've been having intimate conversations with other people right after this. I haven't acted physically towards these people, but I've gotten extremely close. But I think maybe if I fuck someone else I'll feel better. Sunk cost fallacy definitely hits the nail on the head. I like the idea of going to his with mine, but the amount of rage I have. I drive by this guy's work every day, and I don't think I could have a conversation without me putting my hands on him, and I have very minimal confidence in stopping. That being said, you've all given me a lot to think about. Thanks for being real and giving it to me straight. I'm sure I'll post again.